Hello, welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger and
Kitten.
more like kittens, because there's two of them listening, kitten and Aslan.
Aslan's in my lap.
You know, the kitten mommy holding kitten baby. Um, the date is August 20. Wow, 2023. It's so crazy. Like in the beginning of the summer, I was just wondering, like, uh, what am I going to have going on this summer, and all the activities I wanted to do, and stuff like that. And suddenly, summer is almost over. Actually, outside today is a little bit on the cold side, which I guess for the firefighting effort, this is a good thing. Personally, I don't like it. I like hot weather. I know I'm kind of a minority in that, but Kitten and I both came from the tropics, and cold weather, yeah, don't like it. Um, Today I want to ramble on a little bit uh, about karma. Uh, Now, before you guys go and turn this off, thinking that I'm going to get old religious and Buddhism on you guys, this is a different look at karma. There's a lot of different text, tomes, Bibles, Buddhist uh, volumes talking about karma, and a lot of people's understanding of karma is this godly force, like judgment out there that decide what's going to happen. You do this, that's going to happen. You do that, that's going to happen. You murder a dog, you're going to turn into a dog in the next life. That's the most rudimentary understanding of karma. However, for those of us people like me who have been Buddhism, in Buddhist, uh, uh, but then sort of got out of it, there's a different, slightly different understanding of karma, and it got nothing to do with godly force or universal energy or spiritual energy or stuff like that. Uh, so today I'm going to offer you guys this very simple, uh, but just as potent understanding of how karma works. But before I go into this, I want to talk about my dad because he is a good person to use to illustrate my point today. Some of you that's been paying attention to this channel, you have heard me talk about my childhood. My dad was very, very wealthy man. Uh, Millions of dollars to him was not that big of a deal. He was the first person in Taiwan to have driven a Mercedes. Uh, when he was at his best, we owned six properties all throughout Taiwan. And these, I'm not talking about like just a house. I'm talking about owning hotels. Like we owned hotels, we owned entire apartment buildings, high rises. We had six of these properties throughout Taiwan. Um, I'm saying this to give you a backdrop for what I'm about to tell you, which is when I was a teenager, that's when I first noticed that my family wealth was draining away, and at the time I didn't know it was my father's gambling addiction that was doing it, uh, and I just thought maybe business was bad. I had no idea that he was losing hundreds of thousands of dollars in the casino every day, like This is mind-boggling stuff, right? Made me kind of angry just thinking about it. Um, Needless to say, by the time I was 17, we were down to almost low income. We went from a super rich family to like having can't even afford rent sometimes. Fast forward to 2012. I went back to Taiwan in 2012 to visit my parents after not seeing my father for over 10 years. And it was during that trip that I finally put aside a lot of these bad feelings, this anger that I had toward him. But that's another story for another day. We are not here to talk about forgiveness. We're here to talk about uh, karma or a form of karma. Um, I remember in 2012, I went back to Taiwan and me and my mom went out shopping and we ran into my dad's sister at the shopping center. At that time, him and his sister were not talking to each other. They had fallen out quite a few years ago. And they were not talking to each other. But we were no, we were polite and cordial to my aunt, and my aunt was cordial and polite to us. And I remember very vividly standing there in the shopping center talking to my aunt, and just before we went our own way and we said goodbye, my aunt looked at my mom and I and she said to me, she said, "Your father spent his life blaming God, blaming the devil, blaming Buddha, blaming the world, blaming everyone else, but he never realized that he himself is a problem." I thought, I mean, I knew that. Like, I grew up with this man, so I knew that. But I thought that was so well put, so profound. Like, the way she put it, it's like so neat and tidy and tied up with a bow. Like, just summed him up in that one sentence, basically. And that stuck with me. Fast forward again to just last year, 2022. One night, my dad went to bed, and then when he woke up, he called my mom. And my mom woke up earlier, and she was in another room, and he called her, and he said, "Hey, I had such a good dream. I had such a wonderful dream." My mom was like, "Okay, oh yeah, what did you dream about?" And my dad said, "Well, you're kind of hazy, and but in my dream, I got my money back. We were rich. We were rich again. And well, we bought houses, we bought cars, and all our children are happy. And we were rich again. And I was so happy and so glad to finally have my money back." And my mom said, "Oh yeah?" And then what happened? Um, yeah, that sounds more like what the kitten said to me when I talk about my dream. What happened, right? But yeah, that's basically what my mom said. "Oh yeah, what happened?" And my dad said, "Well, I don't know. You kind of went by in a blur, but I just remember before I woke up, I was back at the casino and gambling, and I was so happy." And my mom just looked at him, and she's like, "You totally deserve to be where you are at today. If in your dream you still go to gamble that wealth away, you deserve where you are at today." That brings us back to karma. A lot of people talk about destiny. A lot of people talk about destiny determined by your sign, your element, your zodiac, your the time. year you're born, uh, your facial structures, how your physicality is put together. And I'm not here to say that it's wrong, but I'm here to offer a different, simpler view. How about that your destiny is largely governed by your personality? Yeah, I know. To some people that's not in a very good place in their life, they're going to get angry and say you're blaming the victim, you're blaming us. No, I'm not saying that it's always your fault if you're unhappy, because there's definitely a big random chance there. There's a good deal of it based on luck, right? If you go out and you do everything right, you still get, uh, you still trip and fall and break a leg. That's not your fault, right? But if you go through your life breaking your leg every year, then I am willing to say that it's probably not luck. It's probably something that you're doing. Maybe you need to start paying attention to where you put your foot down. Maybe you got to start uh, picking things off the floor so you don't step on them and fall. Right? So what I truly believe is, if it's bad luck, if the misfortune is momentary, then it's probably something that's luck related, something outside your control. But if the misfortune follows you wherever you go, then you yourself might be the problem. You might need to fix something. Uh, just like in abusive relationship, right? I mean, we can't. You just can't avoid it. You date enough people, you will run into a couple of abusive assholes, whether mentally, emotionally, or physically. It's unavoidable. But if every relationship you have are turning into an abusive relationship, then you probably want to look at yourself and see what am I doing that is resulting in me hooking up with these people, or what am I doing to provoke these people? There has to be a certain degree of responsibility there, and that is basically karma. Right? The most simple, non-religious look at karma is that whatever you do can have a consequence. If there's an action, there's a reaction. Someone said that before. Who said that? I don't know. Wasn't paying attention. Um, for every action, there's a reaction.
Uh-huh.
I'll give you guys a very uh, direct, very simple, uh, crude example of this. Let's say I'm sitting down with you across the coffee table. We are having a conversation, and suddenly I say something that's hurtful, and you, without a second thought, take your coffee cup and throw your coffee in my face. That action now can have three consequences. Probably more, but we'll keep it simple. There can be consequence number one: me pick my coffee up and throw it back in your face because you just threw coffee in my face. So this is the immediate retaliation. This is called immediate karma. Right? Things you do something and something happen back to you immediately. This is the immediate karma. Second, I go, oh, hey, dude, what's the matter with you? What was there something I said? I'm sorry. Like, so this is uh, the more forgiving kind of karma. This is a forgiving karma, which means nothing really happened. I'm not going to retaliate. Maybe because you are bigger than me. You got bigger muscles than me, and I know if we get into a fight, I'm going to lose. Maybe you have like six friends outside, and I don't want to, or maybe you are my employer, and I can't do anything. But for whatever reason, there's no direct consequences. I either apologize for what I said, or I just try to forgive you, or I just let it go, right? So this is a different kind of karma too. This is a forgiving karma. But there's a third consequences, and this is the most insidious. This is the most dangerous, and a lot of people forget about this one. Is okay, okay, you threw coffee in my face. You're my employer today. I can't do anything about it. Fine. I'm going to wait until 2 years, 3 years later when you're no longer my employer, and then I blow your car up. This is a delayed retaliation. This is a delayed karma. And a lot of people don't take this one into consideration when they take action, when they do something. Now, a simple action of you throwing coffee in my face can result in these three different things. And you don't always know what's going to happen. You don't always know. Um, is this something that's going to happen a lot? People throwing coffee in your face? Yes. If you take this throwing coffee in your face as a metaphor, as a symbolic, as someone disrespecting you, putting you down, stepping over you, stepping on you, mistreating you. You go to school, there's going to be people who mistreat you. You go to work, there's going to be people who mistreat you. You're on the street, there's going to be people who mistreat you. Uh, Depending on where you are in life, your family, your friends, there's going to be people who say mean things, uh, either intentionally or unintentionally. There's going to be that cup of coffee thrown in your face again and again in your lifetime. How are you going to react to it? Because every time, depending on how you react to it, there's going to be other reaction to your reaction. You don't always get the last word. Actually, the way karma works, you never get the last word. Karma always gets the last word because it's almost a universal law that uh, like you throw a ball against the wall and the ball bounces back to you and then you throw it against the wall and it bounces back to you. Eventually, you get tired. The wall won't get tired. Okay? So karma, action and reaction is like that. So this is a very lengthy way of saying that if you want good things to happen, if you want a good destiny, then you really need to.
The time is now 9 p.m.
Thank you. Then you really need to watch out for your own action. And what governs your action is your personality. So this is why I say destiny, karma is highly affected by your personality, your decision, your action, not what your face look like, not uh, when you're born, not so much what zodiac sign or constellation you might be, although because those things do affect your personality, so it's all related. It tie in very neat in the end if you just keep an open mind and willing to acknowledge, hey, maybe where I am today has something to do with my personality. Maybe I, not anyone else, am responsible for my situation. Now, of course, people like me and Kitten, we are blind, and we didn't do anything to cause this to happen. This is something different. This is like, this kind of physical situation is a little bit different. But even in that, how you choose to approach being blind, how you choose to approach being disabled, makes a big difference in where you end up in life as well. So I hope that this rather rambly, all over the place episode will help you guys figure out karma, a more simple way of looking at karma, and a simple way of going forward and making the right decision for your life in the end. Thank you for checking out today's episode and being here with us. We are going to go make some dinner before kitten eats the other kitten. For now, have a good night. Bye.